Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Racing Insiders podcast. I am Kate Dillon from Crate Insider, and along with my weekly co-host, Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. And Steve got here about 30 seconds ago, and he was actually sitting down while I was running the intro portion of the podcast here.
I'm a little late.
Yeah. So what took you so long? What happened?
I was just having a conversation with a friend, so that was a deal. And then some asshole at the gas station didn't know how to use their debit card, and then normal shit. Hit every red light, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I hear you. It happens. Yeah, we're still messing with the mixer board here.
Yeah, so sorry if I got sniffles.
Dude, you always have sniffles.
Well, it's that time of the year.
It's always that time of year.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you always have sniffles and like sinuses or something.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
Yeah. Oh, you should get that looked at.
Yeah, probably. I had that looked at a long time ago. It's called allergies. So.
Yeah, but you can't have allergies all the time. But you have sniffles. Sniffles.
Well, that's because according to my doctor, when I was like 6 years old, I'm allergic to everything under the sun.
Like dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Grass.
Yeah.
All those things. Yeah. Gotcha. So I see some folks are here. I see Scott is here. He says, hi, S&K from California, where we've got a boatload of extra politicians if you need some, please. Yeah, if you've got so many politicians, anybody that can step in for Dianne Feinstein, I mean, just, asking for a friend.
It'll be some jackass that steps in for, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was messing with settings. So
you're still messing with settings. Now I can't hear myself.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now I maxed it out. Now I can hear myself again.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can turn this one up too. So.
Well, now it's going to be way louder.
I think you're microphone number one anyway.
I don't know.
No, I kind of made you number one.
All right.
Anyway, if you guys can't hear us or something, let us know. We're just like talking about what we can hear in our earphones here. And let's see, Sean is here. Says hi guys, and Robert is here, and women. Okay.
And
Pippi.
Pippi is now here. Yeah.
Pippi has decided just to walk across the screen.
His appearance.
Yeah, there we go. I love that picture that you took of Pippi yesterday.
It was way more practical to do that than it was just to walk on the floor and go right to his food bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, he really jumped up on the table, walked across. Yes, he's funny. And Tommy is here. He says, hey, all. And Scott says, audio is fine on this end. So that's great.
Good deal.
Good. Yeah, well, I never really learned how to use a mixer board. I just needed something to connect microphones into the computer. And so here we are.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what all the buttons do. So, yeah,
You're not a DJ, you're saying?
I am not an audio engineer. No, it's handy to have, but
I got you.
Yeah, I don't know. It connects the microphones into the computer, so that makes me happy. Hey, any questions you guys have? I mean, feel free to drop them in the comments. And yeah, so how are you doing on this Monday, Steve?
It was a Monday. I mean, wasn't horrible. Yeah, so yeah, nothing like totally stupid happened. So yeah, it was a good Monday.
Yeah, I went out to your shop today, but I missed you.
Yeah, I actually had to. I forgot my wallet at home. I had to get my car inspected today, so I had Alex take it down there, and I had to pay him back. So,
gotcha. Well, that's what he said, and you had to go to the bank or something. And
yeah,
and then I saw you when I was back on my way into town. But
yeah,
I had a shipment, and all my freight goes out to his shop. So
I actually saw you both times, and I couldn't tell whether it was you or Tori driving the van.
Oh, I didn't see you on my way out there because I wasn't expecting to. But then when I was on my way back to my shop, then I saw you on the way back. We just passed like two ships in the night. Anyway, yeah, it's all good. So yeah, anything new with you, Steve?
No, not really. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Unless you got something that I told you about that might be new that I forgot about.
I don't think there's like racing related or anything. No. It's really just current events. Did you see what happened? What was announced today?
Oh, Tucker.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Did you see the stock plummet?
I saw an article that said that it had dropped like 5% right after the news was released, but then I got so busy that I didn't get a chance to actually look.
I didn't see the actual percentage, but I just saw a graph and it was like a cliff.
You know,
but that could be just for a day.
Well, you know, the thing about stock charts is, you know, a lot of times it's really the perspective. So, I mean, if you're talking about, is it a 1-year chart based on the day? But if you looked at a 1-day chart based on a per minute basis, yeah, it would look very, very steep. So I don't know how much it dropped today. If anybody knows, you can drop it in.
Well, actually, I actually was going to send you a article this morning, but I figured you'd like respond back like you normally do, which is all rah, shit over my head about stocks.
Oh,
but Anheuser-Busch, how about that? Did you see that today?
I seriously, like, I have been on the phone all day long.
So the
oh, no, I know about the VP. That happened over the weekend.
Oh yeah, well, the marketing director also stepped down.
well, no, the marketing VP. I wasn't sure if I saw the headline.
The vice president and the marketing VP stepped down.
Well, I knew that she'd been replaced.
Yes.
By Todd somebody.
Right.
Yeah. So. I saw that she was taking a leave of absence. I saw that over the weekend.
So the whole everybody drinking Yingling thing apparently is working.
Well, you know, I think it's really interesting. I haven't seen it really reflected in the stock, despite what we've heard. But now I have to go look and see what Budweiser.
Well, it's just boring because only you can see it unless you're sharing it online.
Well, I mean, I can still just know what's going on so that I can. Nothing's really happened.
Yeah, it's going to make for boring conversation.
Anyway, I know. I think stocks are interesting.
We just have to be pithy and on top of current stuff. Just to.
Yeah.
You don't need to give exact examples of stock shit.
Well, no, I'm not trying to. I'm just, I'm just curious. That's all. I'm a curious person.
Right.
With curious things. I could always share screens too, by the way.
Be curious on your own time.
Oh,
not
wow.
my time.
Well, I do have something that would be interesting to you and to our audience.
Okay.
Because Wheels came in on Friday and made trips out to your shop and picked up wheels. And our video released today. Matt Henderson did a fantastic job. Took Alex's wheel, actually, the one where Alex crashed into the wall and the wheel was just crumpled. And Matt showed how to take it apart and how to, replace one of the bells.
Replace the outer.
Yeah. Replace the outer and put it back together and everything. And we actually have. I mean, if you're for Kaiser wheels, we have a lot of half wheels. So if you need to do repairs, you can.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we run Kaiser stuff on our own car is because, that outer, it's the worst wheel I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've raced since I was 16 years old. So literally it's the worst wheel I've ever seen. And, the inner was fine. Mm-hmm. So it was just replace the outer and the inner wasn't bent.
Right. Yeah. Pretty incredible.
Everything else on the car was bent.
Yeah.
but not the inner.
Oh, and Darren is here. He says all the mainstream beers are owned by the same scum of the earth billionaires. You're 100% right.
Yeah, probably so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really are. Really are correct. Tori is here. She says, hey, Steve. Hey, buddy. We need your HEI distributors.
Oh, yeah. Let me get a few minutes and I'll make some.
Okay. If you have time to post memes, you have time to make HEI distributors.
That takes me 30 seconds, and that's always on Friday, and it's right before, usually at lunch when I get 15 minutes to myself.
I'm just giving you hell. Just giving you hell. It's always time. A person can always find time for the things they want to do. No, I know what that is. And she says deal on that.
Or she can come out there and I'll teach her how to do them.
Well, I mean, that would have been some information I would have loved to have known 5 years ago.
She knows how to rate springs. So.
Yeah, I mean.
It's not that much more difficult than that.
I don't know why you've never offered that to me before.
No, I mean, it's
or is it offered for me or is it just for Tori?
No, I mean, just Tori.
Just Tori.
Yeah. Only Tori. Because that way I can give her shit the entire time she's there.
Okay.
If I give you shit, you'll be all cranky.
Yeah.
I can tease the fuck out of Tori and she'll be all yeah,
and Danielle would crush you like a bug.
Yeah, I'm scared of Danielle actually. She whooped my ass.
Yeah, she could. So we need some questions. Any kind of questions you guys have, feel free to drop them in. We also have some new products. They're not new like to the market or anything, but now we've got some tear-offs that we just put up on the shelf. And we've got some more rivets. People were asking for some black rivets, and so now we have black rivets, which is exciting, I guess. And also pit bikes. Pit bikes came in today.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. So that's why I was out at your shop picking up the pit bikes. Yeah. So excited about that. Yeah, race season is really kind of getting ramped up in full swing, and yeah, we're trying to do what we can to have parts on hand for everybody.
Yep. So I've got some news today. Next Monday we might not be doing the podcast.
Okay, what's going on next Monday?
Or if we want to, maybe we can do it. I don't know how this logistically would work. We can do it from Harris because Alex is going to go test on Monday, which will be the first time he's tested since the last time he tested. And he blew the right front tire and knocked the fence down. So that'll be something I'll have to attend, unless you want to do the podcast by yourself here or have a guest on or something like that.
Yeah, I can't answer the questions that you answer, so probably no podcast next Monday.
Or we can try it in Harris.
Yeah, with race cars in the background.
That'll be like a couple. I don't know. Might be cool. Never know.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Could happen, might not happen. We don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
And then the week after, I may have to make a trip.
Okay.
Which would require me leaving on Monday.
Okay.
So.
Well, you have an iPad.
Just kind of have to see.
We can do. You can call in.
Oh, okay.
We can do StreamYard for that one.
Yeah,
and
that'll work.
You'll have Wi-Fi unless you're going to be, not available.
No, I'd be available
from 7
obviously.
to 8. Yeah. So we could even though. All right. So here we've got a question from a racer's life. Is there any validity to the Kevco crankcase vent system on a 602? Seems like snake oil to me.
It works. It's actually really incredibly old technology. I mean, this is stuff that dates back to the 1960s drag racing. So yeah, it does have an effect. Is it an effect that's, going to be the difference between winning and losing a race? Probably not. It's not something I'm a fan of. I know you sell it.
I do.
I'm not a fan of it because basically it pulls a vacuum in the engine. And anytime you're pulling a vacuum, especially in a crate engine, where it doesn't have seals designed to not suck dirt into the engine, then you're going to have an issue there at some point. But will it make a difference? Yeah. I mean, it can be worth a little bit of power. I mean, again, probably not the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten good feedback from the racers that have bought it and put it on. And I haven't heard any, I think the way to put it is I haven't had any negative feedback. So
no, probably not.
And that usually tells the story.
I mean, it's not legal in a lot of the dirt late model stuff that we do.
Not on the East Coast.
Yeah, on the East Coast. So, IMCA country where, guys are basically buying new motors, running them until they leak down horribly and then offering them to the next guy. Then, yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason not to run it.
Yeah.
If you're looking for every advantage you can possibly get.
Oh, and the question is, does it work? And the answer is, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it works. I mean, the extent to which it works is, questionable, but it does work.
Cool. Good deal. Yeah, but definitely not snake oil.
No, it's not snake. I mean, yeah, it's not snake oil. I mean, does it work? Yes. Is it going to be the difference between winning and losing? Probably not.
Yeah, I think we could say that about a lot of stuff. I'm not just trying to pull.
I mean, we can say it about engine oil. We can say it about headers on certain racetracks. It just depends on the scenario that you're actually racing under. I mean, if you can use every last bit of power you can possibly put on the ground, I'd have it on there if it was legal to do.
Yeah, cool. Oh, and here's Matt. Matt is here with us. And hey guys, and Matt, I mean, great job on that. Really appreciate you doing that video. And I know you've seen it. Obviously, you were in it, and I thought there was some really great, helpful information for maybe this will help with guys that just weren't sure. I mean, it doesn't look that hard, but it's nice to see it step by step.
Right.
And go, oh, okay, well, Matt made it look easy. I would have to say, he made it look easy.
I'm sitting over trying to peel my Lego off.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm fidgety.
Do you need a fidget spinner?
I do, probably. one of those moods where I'm like all, fidgety.
Yeah, he's peeling the label off of his beer bottle.
Slowly, but yep, got it.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yingling. If you drink it in the cans, they don't have paper labels.
Yeah, I know.
Just saying. I got cans of it in their fridge.
I don't like in the cans.
Well, okay. You can pour it into a mug. Lots of options.
Mm-hmm.
Options. All right. Let's see. And Dunning Shane says, what kind of tear-offs we always used? Race optics. Yeah, that's what I have too, is race optics. The Racer X ones, and they've got them in so many different styles, but we just picked up 2 different styles, and if there's any requests out there, happy to stock those.
That is the best tear off on the market, bar none. I mean, I remember back, gosh, when I started racing back in the late 80s, your options were tear offs, which it was the old stack them on there. You can't see shit for forever until you rip half of or 3/4 of them off and that and like tear off machines. So because of my eyesight, I mean, I actually wear contact lenses and my night vision ain't that great. So like me with tear offs never got along. So I always run a tear off machine.
Oh.
So it was the one layer, and then I had a button on the steering wheel I'd push, and it would actually run the tear off across. But that adds about a pound to your helmet. So, not the greatest on your neck.
Yeah. 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 And it's amazing what a pound doesn't sound like a lot until it is.
Right. But with the race optics stuff, I mean, if you can stack 25 of those things on there
and still see crystal
you can
clear
see like it's one layer. So
wow.
Those things are awesome.
That's great. Yeah. It's actually a Matt suggestion. He helped me pick the right tear offs out of the, it's great to have a racer who's an expert and can give some great advice.
Yep.
And, just like I've gotten so many great tips from you for all the engine stuff and all the bolt-ons. Yeah. It's all about having the right team for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's the video. And then I was just trying to think if there's anything else that was really new in the last week. I'm not sure. I think we might have put out another video in between there too. Yeah, we did. We put one out on tire pressure gauges. Thought that was a good one.
Didn't see that one.
It was with Matt. Matt
okay.
did another one on that because now we have tire pressure gauges and then they're digital. One thing I learned from Ben Baker, we were at the Race Logic Chassis School, and Ben was like, okay, so if you were to take a tire pressure gauge, that a regular analog one with a dial, and you go check the tire pressure and I go check the tire pressure and it's right around 10, is that 9.9 or is it 10.1?
Right.
And what's great about the digital tire pressure gauge is it's, if it's 9.9 or 10.1.
Well, I mean, you bring that up and that's actually pretty similar to like checking ignition timing.
Oh.
So like when we chassis dyno for all of our customers for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a scenario where you can like get on our chassis dyno. We dyno for you for free. So we find exactly where the timing needs to be, because believe it or not, I mean, even though we're dealing with the same engines, timing may vary by just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so once we've got it tuned in, our first recommendation to the customer is go home, take your own timing light, you look at it, and that's where it needs to be.
Oh.
Because your vision might be different than my vision. You might be looking at it different than I look at it. Your timing light could be a degree off.
Mm-hmm.
So always do that.
Great. Oh, and I see Hammond Motorsports. So Dave Hammond is here saying hello, Kate and Steve.
Hello.
Dave, we need to get you on the show here one of these nights.
That'd be awesome.
For sure. And he says, Matt did a nice job on the videos. I think so too. Matt did a great job. Really appreciate that help in our office. And Donning Shane says, bar none, 2 helmets set up for mud and sun or dark and the tracks shining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Set up for mud and sun or dark. That's great. For the talking about the different tear-offs.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's some that are, you got like the darker ones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. There's a lot of decisions you have to make in order to buy tear-offs.
Right.
It's like, really? Wow. How do you have like 30 different SKUs for something that seems like it's really simple? Yes. And Dave says, yes, I do need to make a trip down south soon. Yeah. Come on down and visit.
Yep.
See us. Come see us.
100%.
Yeah. And we can also go remote too.
You need to move your ass back here is what you need to do.
Yeah. It'd be great to have Dave down here.
I know.
Although he'd probably try to steal all my people.
Steal all your people?
He would steal my people. He would try.
Danielle and Tori?
Yes, he would try to steal them. Yes, he would. He would. Yeah, we'd have to come to
blows. He does always offer to move them out there, doesn't he?
Always. Yes, always. Always wants to steal Tori for sure. I mean, because he's done it for years now, you know. That's great. All right, so Alan is here and he says, hey guys, Kate, thanks for the recent order. I really enjoy Matt's product video. One has sparked my interest. Steve, if you have any advice, I think I might look into tire pyrometer. Do you use one? And I think my air gauge is in good shape.
Yeah, I did years ago. I mean, pyrometer was something I always used to use. I think now with, I mean, Matt could, I wish he was here. He could probably correct me. But
well, actually, Matt and I talked about this.
Yeah, it was something I used to use a lot. Nowadays, just because of the way the chassis manufacturers are and like where they tell you to run stuff, it's kind of almost all figured out to a point.
Well, except that, you know, one thing I've learned here recently is that, you know, as soon as you come off the track, you know, hit the tires with the pyrometer to find out what your tire temps are. And if you see that, you know, those hotter temperatures in a certain area, I can tell you a lot about your setup.
Oh no.
And and as far as carrying a product, that was one of Matt's suggestions for something that I should add to the store.
Yeah. I mean,
and I just haven't done the research yet to find the best one.
Especially if if you're at a racetrack that builds like a ton of heat in the tire, I think that would be like it'd be something I'd have in the inventory.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially for finding out where the heat is.
Right.
And where that's happening.
That tells you about air pressure. It tells you about everything.
Yeah, I can tell you about your setup or your driving style, or
Well, there's that, and I think as far as like, we used to use it all the time from inside to outside. So especially right front, you know, hey, you know, is there enough camber for this track? Is it too much? You know, that kind of thing. But again, for the most part, like most people are just running the factory setups on like the right front, and I don't know. Yeah. I think it's still an advantage, I think, to be able to have one and use one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you have to, even with the best tools, you have to know how to use them. I mean, not just how to use that, but you know how to interpret that data to make it work. Right. And Dave has responded. He says, no way, in like all caps rage, no way on moving back. Oh. Yeah. Did you hear that it snowed over the weekend?
Yeah.
Like apparently Knoxville was going to have a sprint car race and they canceled, and people were all to hell about Knoxville canceling. And it was mostly because at first, like, it was just so cold. It was going to be so cold. And you know what it's going to look like. I mean, how many fans are going to be in the stands if it's, whatever, super cold. And then apparently there was a picture of like the PR director or the marketing guy with, like, you can see the snowflakes.
Yeah, it's like it snowed out.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, well, there's that, something like that. Yeah, I think people are I just watched Dirt Tracker daily. I watched it right before the show here, and Justin, who's the host over there, he says, and I'm sure all the people who bitched about Knoxville canceling for the weekend, they're all going to rush to social media to apologize. Yeah.
No, they won't.
No, I know.
No, trust me. As somebody who's tried to promote races before.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they don't.
No.
I mean, I had a race that was actually one of my dad's memorial races that I was promoting here locally. Gosh, back in probably about 2013, 2014. Excuse me. And, we had this monsoon freaking bullshit thunderstorm come over, and we're sitting there looking at the radar. And this is like earlier in the night. I mean, we've had teams come from quite a ways. I mean, it wasn't even supposed to rain. That was the shit part about it. And this whole freaking shitty thunderstorm came over, and we're looking at the radar, and the radar is showing it's going one direction, and it's right over that damn racetrack for probably the next 2 hours. So we called the race. I mean, hey, we'll come back tomorrow. And as soon as we called the race, the sun came out because the storm shifted directions by like 90 degrees and went the other freaking way. I caught so much shit on freaking social media over that because I called the race too soon. But hell, everybody sat there for an hour in the rain. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough deal.
Yeah, as a promoter, I would never want to do that again. Be a promoter, I mean.
Yeah, interesting. Dave says there were 125 cars at Davenport, Iowa on Friday, and it was in the 40s to 50s.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
40s
raceable.
And 40s to 50s in Iowa is,
that's like summer.
Well, it's pre-summer. It's pre-summer, but it's not winter.
Right.
I mean, like here we're going to die because we're freezing to death.
Exactly.
I mean, hell, today there's not even it doesn't even take that. Try to go to the dollar store because the dollar store is next to my shop, and I'm going to go there after work and get a loaf of bread, and there's no bread, and I don't know. I didn't check for the milk and the eggs.
There was no snowstorm warning either.
No, nothing. I don't know what the big bread scare was. They were just like, nope, bread man didn't come today. I think the bread man will be back tomorrow. Like, well, that's not going to help me make a sandwich.
There you are making sandwiches.
I am. Here I am making a sandwich. And Darren is here. He's watching.
Get in the kitchen to make me a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, hell, I'll make a sandwich. I'm not too good. I'll never be too good. Just make a sandwich, take out the trash, sweep the floor. But yeah, I mean, I'm not an elitist.
Right.
Just a normal person. But I am capable of other things as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like running a business.
Yeah, well, there's that. Or a couple of them.
Yeah, or a couple of them. Yeah, there's that. So.
Yeah, it was a big part of today. Getting stuff together for the shows. All the shows that me and Jimmy do. My brother.
Yep.
Yeah. And, kind of having some creative ideas and really some great, exciting talks that were the other stuff we do. So, yeah. Mikey's here saying hey from Oregon.
Yep. Hey, dude.
Excellent. Welcome. And any questions you guys have, drop them in. Are there any other current events that I haven't really been paying attention to?
Hell if I know.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, Monday is the worst day to ask me because on the weekends, I just refuse to look at news.
Oh, okay.
World War III can happen. I wouldn't know it. Well, I probably would because we'd be nuked. But other than that,
Or dead. I do have something to share. So for those of you who have Netflix, and if you like to laugh,
yeah.
I discovered there is a show on there called Cunk on Earth, CUNK, Cunk on Earth. And it looks like it's a documentary, like if you turned the sound off, but it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, I was horse laughing in the first 3 minutes.
And it's hard to get you to do that.
Yeah, usually I just groan. I mean, I do think some things are funny, but most things are just stupid. This was just so genuinely funny because of the displacement. I think that's really what it is. I mean, this lady who's the documentarian is really asking questions of these professors. And it's not even a joke. And one of the questions was, so I understand the pyramids are a mystery. Why is there a mystery? It's just bricks in the shape of a triangle. And expecting the professor to answer the question. Right. I mean, just and then there's other things that I just shouldn't probably say on YouTube. So yeah,
you probably could.
Probably. Yeah, it's past the 5 minutes.
Early man was stupid.
No, it's this is hilarious because I had to record this. I had to stop watching it and take out my phone and record it. And you might think that early man was stupid because they had big eyebrows and said ugh. But no, these were the first humans to use tools, unlike modern men who don't know how. That's right. Why you have to call in a real man when you want something done. Right. Just oh my God, it's hilarious.
If you like British humor.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah. Just that dry sense of humor.
The dry delivery that makes you think for a second, and then you're like, oh shit, no, I get it.
Yeah, and there's only one person that cracks a laugh in that at all. Did you watch some more of it last night?
No, I didn't. I went to bed last night. I was beat.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, watch that. Kunk on Earth. It's hilarious.
Yep.
And let's see. So Jason is here saying hey.
Yep.
And Donnie and Shay, racing in the Midwest in spring is a crapshoot. Oh,
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a crapshoot here too, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. That's
mean,
any time of year.
yeah.
We get so much rain down here in the South. Oh, I actually had to at lunchtime. Of course, Danielle saw this last night, but then I had to show Tori. So Tori says, I don't know why they were at war with the cows.
Right.
In the cave painting. Anyway, y'all watch it. It is, and report back if you think that it's as funny as I think it is, because I think it's the funniest thing I have seen in years. I watched all 5 episodes back
They're only
to
like
back.
30 minutes. So
Yeah, like 23, 24 minutes. So
if you don't find the first episode funny, don't bother watching the rest, because you won't find the rest funny. But
no, I mean, like I told you, I was horse laughing in the first 3 to 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And just done. And now I know what's coming next. And so now I'm already laughing before it even happens, because I already know what's coming.
What?
Because now I've watched episode 1.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I thought you were talking like you knew what the next series would be if
she
does another one.
No, I've just watched the whole series, and so I keep going back to episode 1 so I can show people.
Probably like Kunk on Space or some shit.
Oh my gosh. Who knows? But it's funny. It's funny. It's great. All right, so here's a question. And Jason says, Steve, do y'all run a fuel pressure gauge in the car or near the motor?
We run one in the car. So yeah, I mean, right on the dashboard. So yeah, I would certainly have one of those. One like at the carburetor honestly tells you nothing, because you're not looking at it while you're racing. So you'd be amazed at the amount of problems that get solved by having a fuel pressure gauge that you can actually look at on the racetrack. Because generally, like, if somebody's like talking about, oh, the car was doing this going into the corner, but this coming off the corner, I'm like, my first question is like, what was your fuel pressure? And you'd be amazed at the people that can't answer that, but the next time they go out there, they'll look at it, kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's important to know.
Well, and now we have a fuel pressure gauge over on Crate Insider, because people have asked for them, so I finally decided to add one, but I'm not seeing it by typing in fuel pressure gauge. It's not making me happy, but search. When you get more than just a few products,
Damn,
it's
evil
tough.
assistant Tori, she didn't.
No, this is evil assistant Big Commerce is what this is.
I got you.
But yeah, there we go. An all-star fuel pressure gauge, 1 to 15 psi, and we've got them in the store. Yeah, got them on here, $33.99.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've always run one. I mean, the 3 gauges that are important to me is water temperature, oil pressure, and fuel pressure. Oil temperature, like on a crate motor, like don't even bother running that gauge. Get a water pressure gauge at that point.
Well, I mean, we've talked about a water pressure gauge.
There's Orange Cat.
Great. Staring at me. Well, we've talked about water pressure gauge, and you're talking about a water temperature gauge. Yeah, now we've got both the cats there. Yeah. But a water pressure gauge, the thing is, you get a hole in your radiator, water temperature gauge isn't going to tell the story.
Well, no, I mean at a certain point you're only reading steam, so the water pressure gauge is important to me.
Yeah, okay, because you said temperature. Yeah. So, okay.
Oil temperature on a crate motor. I have personally blown up 8 crate engines in my crate racing experience, and not one time did one blow up where I was looking at the oil temperature going, oh my God, this thing might blow up because the oil temperature is so high. It was always absolute part failure. And so, no. So
to recap, water pressure gauge.
Water pressure?
Yes.
Very important to me.
Oil pressure.
Oil pressure, I mean, you're just looking at it going, well, this thing's fucked.
And fuel pressure.
Fuel pressure is very important, because that tells you a lot about, what the car is doing off the corner, down the straightaway, going into the corner, and that helps solve issues if you got a carburetor guy that you're talking to.
Now, do you keep a tach as well?
Tachometer, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, usually a recall tach, so you can kind of see what's going on.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Those Teltacs are garbage. So don't buy one of those because I've never seen one that's accurate within 200 RPMs.
Okay.
So
yeah, this is where you find out where things are garbage. Yeah.
oh, there.
No, I don't sell them. So it's fine.
There's junk. I mean,
not accurate. They're inaccurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, just tell it like it is. All right. So next up, Sean asks, what's the best 4-hole carb spacer for a 604?
Excuse me. Probably that HVH 5/8 is the best I've run across, like in just in a general deal. I mean, if you're using like one of our 600 center section carburetors, then I mean, it's like a piece of crap freaking hamburger. Works best.
Okay. And Jason says, had one in the car start dumping fuel in the car with me. That's why he asked about having a fuel pressure.
Yeah, no, I get that. You need to run one of those, what do you call it? It's a isolator. So it doesn't go in the car with you.
Gotcha. And Dave asks, I like the way your website states the inventory on hand. Is that something we can add to my site? We just rethemed Crate Insider, and it was one of the things that was inside of that theme. That's what I liked about it. So yes, it is possible, and I can tell you, it's not something you can just add to your website, Dave, but I can lead you in the right direction, or we can do that work, figure that out for you as well. So yeah, sure could.
Nice.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. I don't know. Have you seen the new website?
I have, yes. So I did see that.
What'd you think?
I thought it looked freaking awesome. So
cool. Yeah. Cool. I'm still I mean,
it's like anything, there's probably some kinks.
But... Yeah, that's what I'm working on. You know. I wish it was just like a magic wand and go, oh, look, it's brilliant and amazing. And,
it all works.
Yeah. Not always, right. But yeah. All right. And it's interesting. Here's what Matt says about gauges. Matt Henderson, he says, I always tape over my oil temp. It's a waste of space.
Exactly.
All right. And
Chase, and the light's always glowing.
So. Yeah. Chase and Checker says, what's your opinion of 1030 driven oil?
I mean, it works. Me personally, I've never been a big fan. Years and years ago, when we were like doing a bunch of oil testing, I mean, I've tested the driven, and you get great dyno results on day one, and then day two with the same oil, your power numbers drop. You pour fresh oil in it and you got better numbers. So not a big fan myself. Of course, I don't want to bash anybody's product, but I am friends with people who are actual oil experts who make their own oil, and having talked to them, it's not something that I ever recommend. But does it work? Yes. Is it oil? Yes. Will it protect the engine? Yes.
I think another way to put it is if you're willing and ready to spend $20 a quart for oil,
yeah,
we can probably put you into something that
I could put you in something better. Yeah. Way better.
All right. And John says, what's the best carb spacer for a 602 running E85?
The best one I found, I mean, to date, is going to be that HVH with the center divider in it. All it's got, it looks like an open spacer, but it's got a center divider that rounds off the freaking dual plane square part. And every time I've tested that thing versus, like an open or a 4-hole, it's about 4 to 5 horsepower.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And Jason says, hey, Kate, do you have one? I think we're probably talking about those fuel pressure gauges. And yes, they're sitting on the shelf. Yep. And currently we have, apparently we have 2 of them. We have 2 of them. Yep. So it's just a couple, but I do have them. And Dave says that's something we need to work on this summer. Then I think it would help a lot. Yeah, for his website.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we definitely help you out with that. And see the 1030 question. Actually, I think a couple of people asked that same question. That's very interesting. So for Jeremy and for Chase and Checkers as well. All right, John is here and he says, "Hey, I bought 3 fire bottles from you, so thank you for that, John. Accidentally set one off, and the other one was stored in cold, 30 degrees at its coldest. It was a shop, and the gauge got stuck at low. Sent to Fire Bottle Safety Systems, and 100% pleased with their customer service. Great guy and awesome to work with."
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just have a wonderful relationship with the guys at Fire Bottle. I mean, Donnie, just love him to death. And so I'm really glad that you also had a very positive experience. It sucks when those kind of things happen.
I've used Fire Bottle since, gosh, maybe when I started racing. It may be under different ownership.
No, I think Donnie started it.
When did he start it?
I don't know, but I'm trying to think back.
Because I've always had an onboard fire system.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. Well, when did you start racing?
86.
Yeah, and I think that's about when they came out because, I have to go into the Wayback Machine right now. Like when Fire Bottle started, it really was Harry Gant was the first one, and they were using Halon.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was Halon. That's what we had.
Halon at first.
Until we figured out that, Halon will.
Halon, yeah.
Yeah.
It might take all the oxygen out of the air for the fire, but it also makes you can't breathe either.
Exactly.
So, and also, but the reason Halon was pulled actually had nothing to do with safety.
Right.
It was all about ozone.
Right.
Because it's one of the greenhouse gases, and then DuPont developed Fe36, that chemical, and that's what was.
So that makes sense.
Switched over.
Because I guarantee
I think it was right around that time. Yeah, that's cool. And Darren says, we run 602 crates in our IMCA hobby stocks, stock exhaust manifolds, 2-barrel Rochester carb at 6,000 feet in elevation here in Colorado with 6,200 rev limit. Question is, we only have 89 non-ethanol here and 91 octane high test at the pump with 10% ethanol on the high test within 300 miles from my location. What would you choose? Or give me an idea on some alternative fuel or additives I can use, please. So there is 89 non-ethanol, 91 octane high test with 10% ethanol on the high test.
If you're able to tune around it and you can make sure that the 10% is actually consistently 10%, that's what I would use. 100%. Because that ethanol is worth a little bit of power.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is something I know I've had a conversation about with like Al Walters from Friesen. And, for some of his guys that really were running pump gas, one of his suggestions was to get yourself an empty 55-gallon drum and, whether it's 55 gallons or whatever, but you using the pump gas.
Test it at the pump.
Test it at the pump, but then get that much gas. Like make yourself your own barrel and that is tested well, because then your carburetor is going to be set up with, once you set up your carburetor. I don't know, it's just an idea.
I mean, anytime you add ethanol, it's an oxygenator. So if you can get away with that, and you need to buy a tester where you can test at the pump. There's water testers. There's probably a couple different kinds now. Like the water tester is like the easiest thing to use. If you test it at the pump and it tests right, it actually tests, 10% consistently, then do like she said, get a 55-gallon drum, fill that shit up, and then use it with that. But you also have to tune that carburetor around that 10% range. Now, as soon as you get something that's 15%, you would have to retune the carburetor. If you get something that's 5%, you got to retune the carburetor, because 5% either direction from 10 is huge.
Well, and the reason for that there has to be a 55-gallon drum, but if you're just going to go to the station each week and get fuel, the reality is you are getting different fuel every week, and that can be a nightmare to try to go to a racetrack, and then all you're doing is just messing around with your carburetor. It's not what you went there for. You went there to race and have fun. You didn't go there to work on your carburetor all night.
Yeah. And if that's not if you can't do that, then, and 89 non-ethanol is your only option, then that's going to be the most consistent. But I would still check to make sure it's got no ethanol in it. Because do we really trust what gas stations say, or the government? So
always. Always.
Right. Because if they're cutting it with ethanol, that,
Yeah. All right. Another question from a racer's life. What oil would you recommend for a 602? I've been using a VR1 2050 for the longest time.
Yeah, I mean, it works fine. I mean, again, it's something that's going to protect the engine. It's not, anything that's a horrible oil. I would never say it was. Like if you're looking for actual, all out, like max power you can produce with one, which again, probably isn't the difference between winning and losing a race, then I always go with the Daytona 1 first. Clots and then Schaefer's.
Oh, and then Daytona 1, we have two different ones. We can go with the 540 that's a full synthetic, or to save a little bit of money, you can go with the 1540, which is a semi-synthetic. And we have the clots and we have the Schaefer's.
Yeah, which is 1040, and then the Schaefer's at 1030.
Yeah, so pretty much any of the oil that we sell at CrateInsider.com,
it's all stuff we've tested, and that's the best three that I've found.
Absolutely,
including the one you're speaking about. But again, is it the difference between winning and losing? Nah, probably not.
Yeah.
Is it, engine's still alive, it's running.
Yeah, and Jeremy's got a very similar question, just asking, what's your recommended oil?
Yeah.
And the first one you'd go with would be the Daytona 1 5W40, right?
100%. That's what I run in my kid's car.
So. Oh, and Darren liked our explanation for the fuel in Colorado, so that's good. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a really important point. We talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I know we've done a lot of these podcasts, and fuel has definitely been one of our main topics.
That's always a hot topic, yeah.
Yeah, and there's always, there's just so many revelations that happen. You'd think that there wouldn't be a lot of changes in racing and like what we do, but there's been a ton of changes in like the last 9 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, in the last 9 years, I mean, you've got series that have gone from not allowing E85 to now allowing E85, and then to me that's the only option unless you can run methanol, that kind of thing.
Yeah, rules have changed, technology changes.
Yeah, technology has like gone crazy on carburetors.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, and shocks
and headers,
yeah,
and shock. True. Well, I mean, the race cars have gone like completely stupid versus the last time I drove, and I think it was 2016 is the last time I drove.
Yeah.
Versus what my kid's running now. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Freaking all that technology's changed like dramatically.
And Chris is saying, good or bad to run 15W40 oil in a 602?
I mean, you can run it. You can run it. It's going to work. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything by any means.
Well, I mean, we sell the 1540, the Daytona 1 1540.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's a great oil, or we wouldn't have it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lighter weight than the 2050.
Well, I never recommend a 50 weight.
Right.
Not in the crate stuff.
Yeah. It just puts too much pressure on the valves, doesn't it?
Well, we're dealing with stock bearing clearances.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, that's what I'm going to say. We're dealing with stock bearing clearances, so we're not dealing with race bearing clearances.
Okay. But
I mean, to a point, it depends on, if you're dealing with one out of the box, then you're dealing with stock bearing clearances, which fucking net. God damn it. You can have, I mean, again, the reason we rebuild new motors out of the box is because, hell, we had one come through the other day. It had, essentially 0.5 bearing clearance. How's that going to work with your 50 weight oil? Thing's going to burn up instantly. And you're probably in the garage while you're warming it up. The 1030, it might actually burn up when you're on the racetrack, but it's still going to burn up.
All right. So let's see. I'm about to bring in some controversy here.
Oh,
I'm sure.
All right.
I'm sure.
It's always fun.
All right. Roy is asking, are there differences between Fastrak sealed engines and Crate Racing USA sealed engines?
Technically there shouldn't be. Because Crate USA and Fastrak are essentially on the same rules. I mean, there used to be a difference years and years ago. Gosh, I'm saying, and it hasn't been this way for a while. I'm going to say 7 years ago, maybe. And the only difference was we went through a national piston ring shortage, which we're actually going through right now with 602s. And Crate Racing USA, to keep people racing, decided to allow an aftermarket piston ring. And once that was resolved by General Motors. They gave about a 3-year burn off on that. And then, obviously, because, within 3 years, the average guy is going to be rebuilding the motor. And once that happened, then they went back to, GM rings only. Fastrak never did that. Apparently, they didn't give a shit whether anybody raced or not. I have no idea. But they never did that. So that was the difference back in the day. Right now, no, there should be zero difference.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think same with that other series.
Mm-mm. I don't know which series you're talking about.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying the other series.
Okay. Dennis says, "Hi guys, Dennis here from Oz. Kate, are you able to ship to Australia yet? Emailed you a couple of months ago and no reply. I'm so sorry if I missed your email. I really apologize. I know that no excuse, but I did walk in, and today when my inbox started filling out, there was 190 emails in my inbox just from over the weekend. So it is possible. I do apologize for sure. It just depends. I mean, you can just order online and Australia is an option. It's usually Canada that I don't ship to, which sounds odd, but I've had too many problems with Canada. Yeah. It needs to be on a case by case basis. I would caution you from ordering anything that's fluids though, because it's got to go by air. Yeah. And air and fluids, not a good combo. So if it's hard parts, it's kind of a depends, but you should be able to just order online. Yeah. I mean, I had it turned off for a while, but I think I got it turned back on now. So yeah. I'm not logged in right now. Otherwise I'd take a look. So shouldn't be a problem. Otherwise, you can shoot me another email, but I'll make sure by tomorrow that it's, or tomorrow when I get in, that we have it set up for that. Just again, a caution. You want to order fluids, we'll send them, but they're likely to explode.
The only way I do fluids is if you got like a buddy over here racing or something like that who has a container.
Yeah.
And then you can do it in containers.
Yeah.
I mean, the container obviously is like, X amount of money to do, but there's plenty of Aussies racing over here where if you know somebody who knows somebody, or if you know somebody who's actually racing over here, like in the summertime, I get with them because they always ship containers back to Australia.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, of course, I'm not sure what you're interested in, right. But especially if it's anything that's not a non-fluid and it's something we keep in stock, shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, it just depends. But you can just push the button, buy the thing, we'll send it.
Hope for the best. Yeah. And honestly, I'd get to know somebody who has containers coming back and forth because that's the freaking cheapest way to do shit.
Well, I don't know.
I've shipped a lot of stuff to Australia, and normally somebody knows somebody who's got a freaking container going out. So I ship it to X place, and then they get it to where the container is, and then that's filled with all their shit to go back to Australia, and that's like the best way to go.
Well, yeah, pre-2020.
Well, there's that, but
so I don't know how much of that. I haven't had as many container calls since 2020.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know if they're still doing that or just getting a better deal.
Yeah, hard to say. I don't know.
Don't know, but I'll help you if I can for sure. Donnie says, "Whatever happened to the Joe Gibbs oil? Still have a tube of the grease that we run in the hubs of our late model."
Well, that's called driven now.
Yeah,
so it went from Joe Gibbs. Yeah, it went from Joe Gibbs to driven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it was sold and sold again. And now it is driven oil is now owned, I believe, by Comp Cams.
It may be.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Comp Cams owns freaking everything. So
no, and Holly owns the other half.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, or if we split into thirds and then Speedway owns a bunch of the companies.
Exactly.
So it's called industry consolidation.
Exactly.
Oh, and it would actually be, instead of Comp, now it's really all the email addresses are Edelbrock.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, so Edelbrock was the bigger of the two companies, apparently. So now Comp is owned by Edelbrock.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of consolidation for sure. And Roy says Crusa rules say no Fastrak seals allowed. Now, what he was answering was, what were the internal rules as far as what is the difference between them?
Right. So that has nothing to do with the actual internal rules. The problem with Crusa and also the Rush series says the same exact thing, as no Fastrak seals allowed, and it's been that way for several years. The reason being is the seals that Fastrak uses primarily, my my child can get into. So it's not something that is a good sealing system to keep people out. Number two, they've had some, like people building engines that they let back in the series, stuff like that. And, that's been an issue with Crate Racing USA and with Rush. So that's the primary reason why that took place.
Yeah. Different seal types. So there's like a bottle cap seal and
the bottle cap seal is like the one that was being used by Fastrak was basically a piece of shit. Like I said, my child can get into it and cheat it and do all that stuff. Kind of like that's why, GM bolts are now banned in those series as well. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be the most current GM bottle cap seal, which again, there's still ways around that shit too, but
well, there always will be. Yeah. It was funny as you started talking about it. You had a bottle cap in your hand and you dropped it on the floor.
I dropped it.
So it was kind of funny. Yeah. Oh, and Dennis says it's a couple of anti-reversion mufflers. Yeah, order them. We'll get them out to you. Not a problem.
That works.
Not a problem. Yeah. So you just order them online. You should be able to anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Cool. Yeah. I think we're right about time at this point.
All right.
Yeah, I know. We've been jibber jabbering for all this time.
I'm going to go buy me a sandwich.
I made my own.
I know. Yeah, I'm jealous.
Would you like? I could make you a sandwich if you wanted to.
I don't make sandwich. Or yeah. Well,
I didn't ask you to make. I said I would be nice and make you a sandwich.
I'm gonna go listen to some freaking horrible karaoke and get a sandwich and come home.
Blow my mind. Just blows my mind. Alrighty. Any final words to share, Steve?
I have nothing.
You got nothing. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. Anybody who's on YouTube, or definitely share with your friends, subscribe to us over on YouTube. It's really the best place to see our latest videos, and you can hit the bell notification and be informed when we've got a new video out. Otherwise, of course, our podcast listeners on Apple and Google. I mean, if you want to join us live, you can join us live at Monday nights, except for next Monday, Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Well, except for next Monday, maybe the following. I'm still in limbo on that. But.
Yeah, we don't know. Steve's a busy man. We have to fit into Steve's busy schedule.
I'm sorry.
No worries. All right. Thanks you guys for being here, and we'll see you guys very soon. Bye.
See ya.